Yes, that's coffee. Yes, that's coffee. So let's make sure that my shirt is not fixed properly. The wind people would be saying, "You're talking about how Azruddin dressed, but you have an issue with the way you dress." Yeah, I'm not feeling like ties today, so let's keep it like that. So what's wrong with me commenting on the lack of social class, the lack of decorum, the lack of modesty in the opposition leader? What's wrong with that? The man has sought and has secured the second highest political seat in the country. So therefore, he must represent that seat. And don't compare Azruddin to Chedi Jagan. Don't do that. Look how Chedi dressed to meet the people. Were you around to know how Chedi dressed? You're looking at old pictures? How do you know that's what he was doing? Don't make comparisons with Chedi. Chedi was a normal man. He was the average, a people person. He was not a smuggler. Chedi had no businesses. He had no concessions, no cambios, no stores, no supermarkets, no wharf. Chedi, all he had was his passion for the working class of Guyana. All Chedi had was his dream to restore Guyana's democracy from what Barnum did. That's all he had. How do we know if Chedi could have afforded to buy 7 pairs of shoes to change every day? How do we know? Chedi was a normal man. He didn't take a salary. Ask his son, Joey Jagan. So don't come with that stuff comparing Chedi to that fool, that lunatic. Are you getting my audio well? Please give me the thumbs up. There is no place I can report the hackers to because it's the internet. So therefore you are subjected to that. Yesterday the audio was a bit off as well, but we'll get there. Later on, I'm going to restore the Zeller account. So those of you who still want to contribute to the Zeller, that will help to upgrade the system in the studio. The Zeller, not the books. The books are the Durga Foundation. The Zeller, you can contribute to the Zeller if you want to help to boost the quality, get protection and all the security that's necessary so that the Mohammed's millions can't go towards disturbing this program so that you would not get the quality that you deserve. You deserve the quality. Welcome to the Uncensored Guyana show. I am your humble gift, your precious gift, Dr. L. Prasad. And I'm a real doctor. I washed it. I'm being proactive. When I make these comments, it's me being proactive. Because I know Azruddin is telling his people, comment on the kerchief, comment on the kerchief because he's using it every day. Comment that he didn't wash it. He's using the same kerchief he used yesterday. No, fuckface, I washed it. I have several of these, but what's the point? It's just to, I've been pondering with this for a while. And I've asked myself the question. I've asked the internet the question. I've asked the question to the show. With all the powers that we gave to our good president, Irfan Ali, 36 seats. The man is now a mighty, mighty leader. He can do no wrong. He has the law, the constitution, and the citizens of Guyana on his side. Therefore, my question, why are you skimping on your powers, Mr. President? Because if we give you power, we also give the powers to the agencies that are under you, the ministries, ministers that are under you. We give them that power too, except for Ejel and Indar. We take the power back from them. But for the rest of the ministers, especially that of the Home Affairs Ministry, Minister Waldron, I know you follow me, I know you watch my show. You're quite an attractive woman. It's nothing personal when I talk about you in the past. You know that. It's just politics, nothing personal. But I have to criticize you again today. Again. And it's not your fault. Because the one that was before you, he was also a low energy individual. He allowed what happened in Tushin with the double-day hotel. He allowed that. He allowed a lot of shit that happened during the first Ali term. He allowed that as Home Affairs Minister. So I can understand. He didn't set the bar competitive for you. You now have to now pull out of thin air and see how best you can create a bar of your own. Home Affairs Minister Monique Waldron. The bullshit that I keep hearing, that the police, the justice system cannot touch Azruddin Mohammed because it's going to interfere with extradition. Fine. He can do whatever the fuck he wants and get away with it. As long as the case is before Judy, Azruddin could have hit the soldiers yesterday. He could have slapped the one that pulled the boat over, and you wouldn't arrest him. Your excuse will be, Anandalal, your excuse would be, well, we have the case before the courts. We cannot complicate the case. So we'll have to deal with that after this whole process is over. Yes, fine. So Azruddin has immunity. Okay, he has immunity. He can do whatever he wants and get away with it. That's Azruddin. How the fuck did that extend to Henna? Anandalal, Onish Waldron, tell me, how does that privilege that Azruddin is enjoying, that he can do whatever, whenever, wherever, and nobody can touch him, how does that extends to Hannah, whatever the fuck her name is? How does she get that privilege? Is there some secret extradition request for Hannah that we don't know about? You don't want to publicize it? Because Hannah is enjoying a lot of privileges. A lot of privileges. She is worse than her brother. She is a psychopath. But nobody touches her. She is immune from the law. She has a proof, a law proof, a legal proof that cannot be penetrated. No, literally. Hannah is going around for quite a while, breaking so many laws, and nobody is noticing her. Is there a deal that was made with Azruddin and Shell that includes the entire Mohammed's family? If you touch one, you touch all. And since you can't touch one, you don't touch any of them. What protection does Hannah have from the law? Minister of Home Affairs, And then Landalal, share it with us. Let us understand why there are no charges being brought against Henna Mohammed. Why not? She continues cybercrime, bullying, making false claims, verbal abuse, physical abuse, breaching legal barriers, and nobody is bothering with her. You know why she's doing that? I have a theory. Because apparently she has secrets for some of you too. Apparently she also has secrets for some of you. Maybe Henna fucked a few ministers who has wives. Maybe Henna cheated on her husband with a few of Ali ministers. So they don't want her to spill the bean, because she could spill the bean. Her husband can't do her shit. But they don't want her to spill the bean, because if she spills the bean, it is more pressure on the Ali cabinet. So leave Henna alone. She can do whatever she wants. Leave her alone. Understand, Henna is storing up a lot of chaos at the behest of her brother. What he can't do, he puts her to do. So why no one is approaching Henna? Why isn't Henna in handcuffs? She has never been pulled over by the police. Literally. Forget about all those traffic shit that she talks about. The real crime that she commits, she has faced no consequences for that. Minister of Home Affairs. Is there an order down to the local cops not to touch Henna? President Irfan Ali. What's this about? You are dealing with the father and the brother and the sister. The whole family is messing up your government, President Ali. It's a conspiracy with the Mohammed's family to mess with your regime. And this is not just propagandizing. This is not politics. This is personal. Henna Mohammed has no agenda to fight for poor people. She doesn't even know the word exists. Henna, there's a word, P-O-O-R. It's in a dictionary. You can Google it. It means people that are the opposite of you. Henna. People that are on the opposite side of where you are, they are the description, the definition of the word P-O-O-R. Now you know. You can't claim ignorance now, Henna. You don't give a fuck about poor people. Your mission is to cause as much chaos and provocation so that you could be arrested, and then subsequently your brother can get physical with the law enforcement so they can arrest him, and therein jeopardizing the case in the court where the extradition is concerned. This is the plot, the ploy of Henna and her brother, to be confrontational, physically confrontational. So they are arrested and put behind bars. And that's the end of the extradition case. That is what they want. Fine, then give it to Henna. Give it to Henna. Audio still good? Yeah. Give it to Henna. She's begging to go behind bars. She wants to be arrested. Henna wants to taste the handcuffs. Her husband is not such of a freak. Henna's husband is not such a freak. Because when you got a midget dick, you don't need to put handcuffs on a woman to pin her down. What are you going to fuck her with? When you got a long wood, then you need to put her in handcuffs so she can't run away when you're driving the wood in her. Henna wants to experience handcuffs on her fucking hands. Give it to her. She wants that. She's begging for it. Why are you sparing her? Why the special privileges? Since Azruddin had the temerity to share a black woman being arrested at the Melanie protest, since he had the temerity to share that, so the country can see how the police harassing black people. Good. Thank you. Thank you. I am glad you're sharing that, Azruddin. I am glad you're showing how the police, the black police in Guyana, are harassing black protesters in Guyana. I'm glad you're seeing it. Where are they getting the orders from? Who is giving them the orders to only harass black people? Who? The Minister of Home Affairs is a black woman. The Commissioner of Police is a black man. Don't tell me the president is telling a black Home Affairs minister to tell the black Commissioner of Police, to tell the black divisional commanders, to tell the black officers on the ground to harass and arrest black people. Don't tell me that. Okay? So, why is the Ali regime, the Home Affairs Ministry, only targeting the hooligans who are black in these protests? But you are skipping, you are turning an ignorant eye to the key instigators, the people who are causing these hooligans to go out and fuck up law and order. You're ignoring them. You're not arresting Azruddin. You're not arresting Henna. You're not arresting her sister. You're not even touching Odessa Primus. But the low-level protesters, you're harassing the same way you go lock up these captain and this crew. And the mastermind of this tragedy is Egil and Indar, and you're not touching him. Is that a system? Is that how this thing works? Leave the big players, get to the small ones. So you want to talk about justice and fair play, Azruddin? Don't tell the police, don't harass the black protesters. Harass your sister. She is the more vile, disruptive. She is the most of all, but they're not touching her. Yes, you're correct, Azruddin. The police are racial against black people because they're not doing you or your sister anything. Or the Indians that are following you that are doing the shit they're doing, they're not touching them. Just the blacks. Power, President Ali, power. You have absolute power. Why can't you deal with Henna Mohammed and the Mohammeds the way you deal with everybody else? Why not? I want to see Henna Mohammed arrested because of all the shit she's doing, the laws she's breaking. Teach her a lesson. You want to handle the protest? You want to handle the hooligans? You want to deal with those who like to pull away police barricade and aggressively want to fight with the police? Get their leaders. Arrest Azruddin, his sister, Odessa Primus. You can leave Tabitha Haley. Leave Tabitha. She's too cute to be in handcuffs. You want the monkey face Odessa, the baboon face Henna, and the crapo face Azruddin. You want those three in handcuffs. You can take them away. Leave Tabitha. I mean, don't you see how she's cute? Leave her. Her hands are tied. She wants to leave, but she can't leave because why? She is indebted to Azruddin. Maybe he loaned her money to buy her mansion. Who knows? The woman is indebted. She needs to pay that debt back. And if she goes now, if she leaves now, where would she go? PNC ain't got money. APNU don't have money. There's no place for her at the PPP. So how would she pay this man back his money? She has to wait her turn until Azruddin is on the boat to Florida. Yeah, by boat. He wants to taste the sea. He wants to be there in chains in the boat, praying, oh my gosh, I hope this is not MV Barima. I hope this is not MV Barima. Because he's obsessed with the dead. He's obsessed with spirits. So they're not going to ship him by plane. He's going to go by boat. But in the meantime, Tabitha Haley has a debt with the Mohammeds. So she can't go anywhere. This is why when you see her out, it's only a little for her to turn her face. You know, when you're embarrassed, you try to avoid the camera, you're sulking, you're like, look at her, pay attention to her. The only one that is aggressive and is coming and want to eat you up as if you're KFC is Odessa Primus. So take them, deal with them. That's how you break the protest up. That's how you deal with the hooligans. You can't go taking some nobody, some unimportant person, some person who just posts some one-side tits on TikTok and get some followers. You can't deal with them. You have to deal with the ones who are organizing and instigating and are paying people to create destruction. You have to arrest those who are inciting this violence. There is a law against incitement. Don't ignore those people. In the same way, Mr. President. Oh, by the way, before it gets cold, let me just, drink a bit. Mr. President, Azruddin came on his platform and he literally begged you, Mr. President, he begged your government to give him the permission to spend 10 million American dollars to float MV Barima. Like 2 weeks ago. I reported on that. Can you remember? It's just now. Go look back at least 4 or 5 of my shows. I've said it on this platform last week that the floating of the boat is going to cost the Guyana government 8 to 10 million American dollars. I said it first. Just go look. Just go look. Nobody else out of Guyana, on no platform, not a newspaper, nobody quoted that figure. I quoted the figure 2 weeks ago and almost every day after that. That is going to cost 8 to 10 million American dollars to float, to salvage MV Barima. That's what I said. And I also said it will be around 2 billion Guyana dollars, our dollars. I further stated it ain't the government's money. It ain't the government's money. When the government talked about they have to consult with the relatives of those who might still be buried, 30-something people, I suggested it is better for the government of Guyana to take $100 million and divide $100 million amongst all the persons, dead and alive, who were captives on that boat. That's what I said. I further stated, when you take 100 million, you still have 1 billion, almost 190 something billion left. You still have that. But when you take out 2 billion of our taxpayers' dollars to salvage a boat that is of no use, you can't take it for scrap, You can't take parts from it to build anything else. You can do nothing with it. You salvage the boat, you have to find somewhere to put it. Nothing on the boat can be used. Can't rehabilitate the boat. Plus, the bodies that you might find still stuck or squeezed somewhere on the boat, they might be unrecognizable. Unrecognizable. Not they might. They will be unrecognizable. The only way you can tell who is who, you have to take samples, take it to labs, test for DNA, then compare that DNA to records you have in file. How many people from the Northwest or wherever is in the system? How many people have DNA records in the system that you can identify that this belongs to that person? How many? Guyana is not that advanced that all the citizens, their information is there. They're not that advanced. It is a useless venture, a waste of taxpayers' money. A useless venture, a waste of taxpayers' money to raise the boat to get 30 bodies that you can't recognize. If in fact you're going to find those bodies, have you seen the strength of the current in that area? Maybe most of the persons who would have been submerged with that ship was pulled away with the current. They're lost in the ocean. And those who might be pinned down there, everything is gone. Just skeletal, if you would find that. So what happens if you salvage the boat, you pull it to the top, and you cannot find any corpse? What happens then? You can't find any corpse. What fucking evidence are you looking for? To see the rollers there? To see the high mark on the ship? To see the pickup trucks and the cars? And the tiles? That's the evidence you want? We all know the boat was overloaded. We all know that. The government admitted it was overloaded. The government said they had materials on the ship. We know that. What would you look for? To see where the holes are? The boat was not seaworthy. We all know it was not seaworthy. It was not seaworthy. The engine was bad. We know that. Now you're going to salvage the boat to prove what? That both engines were working? How are you going to do that? They're both dead now. Everything is damaged in the ship. How are you going to prove what was working or what was not working? How? You can't. Matters not what experts you bring. You can't prove shit. Taking $2 billion to prove what? It's a waste. That's corruption. You want to talk about corruption? Oh, you people love to say that's a PNC project. Remember the Durban Park? Remember all of the projects that started? Remember how many contracts were given out in the first 5 years of Ali's term and had to be refinanced? How many monies were given to contractors and nothing was done? No accountability for that money? Oh, Guyanese cried out. Corruption. It's a waste of money. Where is our money? What did you do with the money? You have nothing to show what you did with the money. Exactly. Exactly my point. If you can cry when contractors get paid and don't deliver their work, they don't refurbish, refund the government, you the taxpayers, the money they would have gotten on a first cut, you cry out. You want the government to step down. You want the ministers to go. justifiably so. How is this different? How is floating MV Barima different? It's also a waste of taxpayers' money. 2 billion. A waste. There are a lot of people waiting for surgery who can't afford to finance themselves to go in foreign countries to have surgery. There are a lot of people who are waiting to build their homes, who don't want to take loans from the bank. They want to save their money. But because they are underpaid where they're working, they can't afford to save enough money. There are lots of people who have dreams, but they can't finance their dreams. I'm talking about the living, those who are alive, ambitious, and wants to get things done, and they have no access to the financing. You, the government, always complain you don't have enough money to put into this project and that project, but you're coming and saying, on the advice of the relatives who themselves understand the circumstances and who is being pushed by the opposition to insist on this futile venture, they're now calling the shots, government. You have 10 families deciding for the whole country how the country's money should be spent. 10 families. That the 10 families are telling you, the government, take 2 billion of our money, all of us, our money, and float the boat. There is no returns from that. It's not an investment. There is no returns. It is a waste of money. You just blow it away. You take 2 billion and you just scatter it like that in the wind. Why not take the 2 billion, put it in the bank you're building now, the new bank that you open to help Guyanese? Take the 2 billion, put it in that bank. And all the people I've just mentioned, those who can't afford healthcare in foreign countries, those who can't afford to build their homes, use that money and help those people. Don't loan them the money. Give it to them. That is investment in something that makes sense. Give them the money. Use the money for the living. Use the money for those who matters. Mr. President, you went to Region 1. You heard the concerns of the people in Region 1. They're talking about the cost of flights, the cost of goods, and how expensive it is because of the planes and the local airline operators. They're taking advantage of the situation. Good. You have 2 billion disposable income. 2 billion. What's the cost for a plane, Mr. President? What is the cost for one of those small planes? Is it $1 billion? A boat is 800 million. A boat is 500 million. What is the cost for a plane, Mr. President? Wouldn't it be better, since you have all that money to throw around, to take the 2 billion Guyana dollars and buy 2 planes with it? Or, as you say, get a special boat to transport goods from that route so the cost can go down. Wouldn't it be better to take 1 billion and buy another boat for that particular region that has issues with the high prices of goods? Isn't that a better way to spend our money, Mr. President? This is real nonsense, man. I expect better from your government. Mr. Nandalal, you're a lawyer. If you were president, would you have done this? Would you have taken taxpayers' money and invested in a venture that would bring no fruits? No fruits. When would this be undertaken? Another month from now? 2 months from now? When? It would have been 3 months since the boat is submerged. What would be the point? Is it going to affect Traffic, is it that shallow that boats would not be able to traverse that route? What is this excuse? What is the justification for spending taxpayers' money for $2 billion to raise a ship when you have on record the opposition accidental leader begging you to give him the chance to spend his $10 million to raise the boat? Tell me Guyanese would tell you, no, don't do it. Use our money. Who the fuck would do that? Which Guyanese in their right fucking mind is going to tell the government, hey, no, you're giving him ammunition. You're giving him things to talk about. Use my taxpaying money and raise the boat. Don't take Mohammed's money because I don't want him to have something to throw in your face. Which Guyanese in their fucking sense, in their brain would tell you, the government, to ignore somebody offering to pay the 10 million? Which Guyanese? The 10 families? The 10 families that the opposition is pushing to push you, the government, to take the money to do this useless venture. Don't you think they heard Mohammed saying he wants to float the boat with his money? They heard that. So how does it make you look bad, Attorney General, President Ali, if a billionaire in the country who owes the country $191 billion, he owes the country, to take $2 billion from the money he owes the country and float the boat? How is that a bad move? How is that ammunition for the opposition? The man is going to go anyway. You know he will get locked up. I know he will get locked up. The country knows he will get locked up. If he wants to do this as his legacy, let him do it. Save my money. Save my tax-paying money for something that can benefit the people who are alive in the country and needs the government subvention. Save the money for them. Not to put in this venture. I'm not with you on that. The man wants to float the boat. Let him put his mouth where the fucking money is. He going on record. You have something to hold against him. You want something to hold against Mohammed? This is it. This is it. Give him, float the boat. If he refuses, which he will, isn't that good for you, the government? It will show the people the man is the joke. It will show the people the man is a joke. He's a scam artist. He just talks and talks and fucking talks, empty talks. But if you don't give the man the chance to float the boat, how would you know if he will back down? I know he's going to back down because the guy just talks. In no way he's going to take 10 million American dollars. In no fucking way. He's going to take $10 million to float that boat. Never. But how would you know, and how would the Guyanese bring closure to that if you don't tell him, go ahead, and hold them to it? How? If I were president, I would jump at the opportunity. It didn't show weakness from my part. It shows strength that I want to use my country's money for more productive means. The experts said the boat is beyond repair. It should have been salvaged years ago. They said it. The experts said, the marine experts said, the task to go and recover people, you can't hold them. You won't be able to hold them. They will have no skin. Make it a memorial site. The experts told you that. The experts also said it is a difficult process because of the condition of the water, the condition of the mud. This is in the blue waters. This salt water is mud. They told you. And you're going to allow yourself to be hijacked by a lunatic opposition leader, some loser from APNU, some wasteland thinkers like Campbell and the others, to influence a few remote village citizens who themselves won't even go after their relatives if their relatives are missing, to influence you and pressure you, such a mighty government, to take $2 billion. $2 billion and waste it like that. If you do that, I will not forgive you. If you take taxpayers' money and put it into that useless venture, I, Dr. El Persal, would not forgive you. Because if any other regime was in power, they would not have done it. They would not have done it. No amount of pressure would tell them not to do it. You could lock the country down during COVID with no evidence. You locked the country down during COVID. People lost their businesses. People lost their dreams. People were affected. You could have done that with no evidence to support this whole hype with this corona stuff. On the advice of experts that you consider expert. And now the chief expert, Fauci, they want to jail him. They're trying to jail him for life because of the same advice he gave to presidents like you, Ali, and presidents around the world to destroy their countries. Same expert. But you listen to the fake experts on the COVID issue and lock the country down. Killed how many businesses? But the real experts, marine experts that told you this boat cannot be salvaged, it's a useless venture, you're not going to listen to them. You're going to listen to 10 families who practically don't even care about their relatives. They're the ones you're going to listen to. With an opposition, when they were in power, they did worst. They did worst while they were in power. Or are you afraid of Azruddin Mohammed? You think it's going to help him get votes? How? How is this? How is it that you, ignoring this, doing what is right for the Guyanese people, is going to help Azruddin get votes? How? He going to run for president from the prison? Is he going to run for president from the prison? The man will be a convicted criminal. A convicted criminal, even if he comes out of office, comes out of prison in the next 50 years and he's still alive and he's around 90 years old and wants to run for president in Guyana, doesn't that disqualify him? The fact that he's a criminal, an ex-convict, disqualifies him, right? So how is this a political win for Azruddin Mohammed if you let him take his money and float the boat? How? It's irrational for Guyanese must having to pay for this shit. It's irrational. Come on, man, let's be real here. Some of you, when your relatives die, you not even want to take your salary and help to buy the coffin for your father or grandfather. You're begging others to help you to buy the coffin. Your salary that you work for. You're not taking it for your own personal things like these. You're going to sit back and allow the government to spend $2 billion of your taxpayers' dollars? Why? Because it's not directly coming from your account? It is coming from your account. That is $2 billion out of the budget. So a lot of things are going to be cut out. Because it's this year's budget. A lot of the things that's supposed to be done for the citizens of Guyana, that money is not coming from a loan. It is coming from the budget. And that money is not going towards anything for Guyanese. It is going to be paid to whoever gets the contract to salvage the ship. They're going to leave Guyana with 10 million American dollars. is not going to be invested in the Guyanese economy to bring back some returns. No. Guyana don't have a company that can salvage that boat. It's a foreign company that has to come. When they come, they have to get half of the money up front and the half when they're finished. It is wired to their account in whatever country. Kiter and you seem to understand it's a Dutch company. So if it's a Dutch company, maybe it's in the Netherlands or in New York. The point is, it is 10 million American dollars. They're not being paid in Guyana dollars. The government has to find 10 million US dollars to wire to the company that's going to salvage that boat. It's going out of the country into the bank accounts of whoever is doing it. It will help their country. Think, Guyanese, is that what we want? Because we are afraid of the opposition? And Nandalal, sometimes I want you to, when you broadcast your program, don't do it live. Anil? Anil Nandalal, don't do your show live. Do it pre-recorded. When you do your show pre-recorded, you watch it. Listen to yourself. And if you are convinced that sometimes you sound real stupid, edit that part out. Because if it can convince you that you sound stupid, all the people who listen to you, as dumb as they are, they're like, what the fuck is this guy saying? You come over stupid to them too. Because what you have said in relation to this particular case is that you're doing whatever you have to do to please the opposition. Please the opposition. Which government does that? Are you speaking for President Ali or yourself? This is taxpayers' money you're talking about. Fuck the opposition. It's a useless venture. Don't use taxpayers' money for that. Mohammed wants to float the boat. Let him float the boat. Then you're done. Your hands are washed. Then we see what happens there. He can do whatever he wants with it. He doesn't own it. Float the boat don't mean you own the boat. Who will have, then you decide what happens to the scrap. Then you can sell it to him. He can buy the scrap. Maybe he can dismantle the boat for whatever. Sell the iron or sell the steel somewhere. But give him, let him use his money. And Mr. President, I paid attention to, not totally, but the Melanie protest. What they're calling a protest. Folks, I've said this again. Juan Egil and Indar is not going anywhere. And that's the irony. You're not going to fire Indar and Egil because it makes the opposition look good. But you're going to spend $2 billion Guyana dollars to make the opposition look good. Do you see how this sounds? You fire Indar and Egil and all this protest is over. But you hold on to them. But you're giving the opposition, as you said, I'm quoting you, Alan Nandala, you are giving the opposition what they want, floating the boat. They also want Indar and Egil to go. They want that too. You're going to give them $2 billion and not these two assholes? Give them the two assholes and save our money. Save our money. Either way, they're costing you money. Protests cost money. Disruption, loss of business. It costs money. Save the country time and money. Get rid of Egil and Indar. Tell Mohammed, go ahead, salvage the boat. Then you can continue with the business of the country. Mr. President, you can continue with the business of the country. I don't get it. And by the way, Aubrey Norton, I almost thought that that counselor, that manager for the Melanie district there, I thought it was your cousin. I had to, first I thought it was you. I said, is this a younger version of Norton? I mean, because you're both ugly, but I thought from a distance, when the man came closer, I thought, oh, that guy. I really thought it was you, Norton. I'm thinking between yesterday and today, something happened. You can't say you stopped drinking just 24 hours and you reverse aging. The guy looked like you. You are more ugly, but he still looked like you. I guess in 5 years, passes your twin. Maybe there's some relatives there, some relationship there. You talk the same way. And I can understand why they had to put him out of the hall. With that attitude, I wouldn't want you around me. These are the kind of people, unfortunately, the black people of Guyana keep electing to office. These hooligans are the kind of people. I understand why James Bond had to leave. James Bond, I'm not mad at you. You are an opportunist. We are all opportunists. The difference is you're benefiting. I'm not benefiting. You're benefiting. But I can understand why you left that camp. You were surrounded by a bunch of freaks that belongs in a circus. Campbell belongs in a circus because of his fucking attitude. Sherrod Duncan belongs in a circus because he can't identify whatever sexuality he has. Ganesh Mahipal belongs in the circus because he got a patch on his face and the color of his lips. You can't tell if he smokes cigarette or marijuana or just by sucking dicks, his lips were disfigured. You can't tell. The point is, Norton definitely belongs in a circus. And this other fool we saw today. This counselor who had an issue because he was kicked out. That's not a circus. The president of the country was meeting with civil-minded individuals, black people. Ali does that all the time. How the heck are you going to disturb the man's meeting? The man was meeting with people who want him there. The fact he goes is not because he unilaterally decides, I'm going to go to Buxton today. No. The request is there. There are many requests that was made to the president from these districts. He had to schedule when he's going to go where, what time and what day. Then he communicated that to these councils and say, hey, I can come the third Tuesday in the new month. So they have it on their agenda. This is not just like that, I'm going somewhere. No, this is these are planned projects, and it's not projects that are planned in a month's time. Do you know how long it takes for people to see the president? It takes a long time. So people wanted Ali there. It is no distraction from the Barima tragedy. It's not. In 2020, everywhere, every month, Ali is everywhere. I mean, the first 5 years. The second 5 years, from day one, Ali is everywhere. What the fuck are you talking about? You were not invited because of your hooliganism. You're destructive. You're embarrassing the decent black people on the East Coast. They had a right to put your black skunt out. Go and make noise with Campbell and the others. Go there and bark like a dog. Fight with the police. They're black like you. Fight with them. Imagine if they were Chinese police or Indo-Guyanese police or Amerindian police. Oh my gosh, those pit bulls would have eaten them raw. But you know you can't fuck with your own people. They're black like you. They might wear uniform, but they're telling you, play your skunt and come. You ain't playing, you're just talking. That's the right weapon for you. Bully them. Go bully the police. Somebody asked me to what's my opinion on the situation with the fishery. That people don't want to eat the fish now because of the whole thing. Look, there's a lot of things that are circulating on social media. I haven't seen any. TikTok, I haven't seen any. I'm not there to browse video. I just post my stuff and I'm gone. But persons send me a few talking points, concerned people, and they're like, hey, can you look into this? I said, yes, I can. Well, I looked into it. First off, let me say this. First off, if I was on the ground in Guyana around this time, I personally, rumors or not, would have avoided saltwater fish. Let me say that off the bat. I would have avoided saltwater fish. Regardless of this tragedy, I don't eat shark. There are certain fishes I don't eat because I understand they're carnivorous. I understand what they do. They're very toxic. I avoid that. So personally for me, I wouldn't use any shrimp or no kind of salt water fish around this time. If I lost fish that much, I'll stick to the sweet water or the black water. I'll stick to that for now. My reason for saying this, one, is common sense. There is an area where the fishermen go. Shallow waters, deep waters is an area. Out into the Atlantic, there's a point where the salt water cuts off. It doesn't mix with the clear water, it just cuts off. And where the salt water cuts off, the fish that lives within the barrel of the salt water don't go over to the blue water or the fresh. They don't go there because they're conditioned to live in the salt water. Certain fish that is in the salt water you wouldn't find in the we call it blue waters. It's just their biology. So therefore, when you have such a current, a strong current, and so many bodies are unaccounted for and diluted in the water, dismembered, the skin gets soft and peel off. Yes, naturally, if fishes feed on each other, fishes eat dead fish, animals, they eat carcasses. What makes you think they're not going to eat human carcasses? The fishes don't know these are dead people. Fishes can't tell this is people. They can't even tell that's another fish. Banga Mary eats Banga Mary. Trout eats trout. They eat each other. And yes, anything they find that they can feed on, they'll feed on. And with the current that is pulling against the carcasses, it's going to cause sediments to go here, go there, spread around the sea basin. The bodies are going to spread, and fish is going to nimble. That is possible. However, the Ministry of Agriculture, under our good Zulfikar Mustafa, I trust, I believe, and I respect the minister. The minister is not a scientist. He's not a doctor. He has to speak after his experts. And I don't think if his experts tells him there is no risk of contamination with these fish that would pose a health risk to Guyanese, if they tell him that there is a risk, I don't think he's going to come and lie and say, no, it's not a risk to the people just because he wants to help some Indian fishermen. I don't think so. Because if experts are telling him, and these experts in the agriculture fishery sector are saying, Minister, we would advise the fishermen to stay away for now from these waters because contamination is there. And then he says, keep it quiet. We don't want to cause any chaos or frantic situation. Let me spin this another way. Sign an NDA so you can't go speak anything else. I don't think the minister is that evil to put Guyanese at risk. Because if you eat fish that eat carcasses, human carcasses, you are exposed. You can get diseases, E. coli and all kinds of diseases. You can get that. If the fish is contaminated, it can also contaminate you as a human. But like I said, I put my trust in the minister, the same way those unfortunate souls put their trust in Egil. And Egil said the boat is good, let it go. If the minister said there is no contamination based on his exports, and contamination happens, or people get sick as a result of eating the fish, then we have a problem. Then we have a problem. Because they can't just use out of the way or pulling data from the sky and just imagining stuff. They would have to have tested many different species of fishes to arrive at that conclusion. The Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, under Mustafa, would have had to take these fish to labs, test a lot of fishes, different species of fishes, and shrimp, to determine that none of these were contaminated. They have to do it on a regular basis. Every time a fisherman or the trawlers come in from their catch, the trawlers also have to look amongst their catch to see if they can identify clothing, anything that is attached to a human being. They have to look to see if they can identify anything there. If there is nothing there, let's say a piece of a human flesh or a piece of clothing, they still have to take samples of that catch to the lab and test the samples to make sure there is no contamination. There is nothing there that this fish or these fishes were in contact with any corpse before it goes to the market. If that was done, not one time, and say, okay, that's it. No. Because if your past shipment was not contaminated, it doesn't mean that if you go out tomorrow or in the next few weeks, it would not be. Every shipment has to be tested. It might be a process, but it saves people's health. That entire region, because of the amount of bodies, might take some time for the water itself to cleanse itself. Cleanse itself, wash all that toxin away. You're dealing with oil from the ship. All of these other things from the boat would have been spread out into the water. Every time the current comes, it pulls something with it. And the ships in that region, of course, because the ships don't swim upstream, they swim downstream. And in that region there, Essequibo off the Essequibo coast, that's where the fishermen would fish. That's why you had access to the fishermen who came to help to locate bodies, because they do their fishing around that area. They have to test. The ministry has to test these fishes that are being caught, and to say that they're not a health risk. But you can't pull things out of your imagination and just assume stuff. You have to have the facts, the data. It is because of this irresponsibility of Egil we have this issue right now. So while I say I trust the minister, because he has to trust his experts, personally for me, I would not eat saltwater fish, at least for the next 2 months. For me, personally, I wouldn't. And me eating it, I have other options, other alternatives. Sweetwater fish, blackwater fish. You have birds, you have other meat you can supplement your diet with. This tragedy happened, and there are consequences that comes with it. Consequences, they are protesting every day. They're calling for ministers to be fired. They're calling for the government to go. Those are consequences of this tragedy. Fishes, possibility of being contaminated, fisher market affected, fishermen affected, consequences of this tragedy. It will cost across the board. We deal with it how? By being careful. The Ministry of Health with the Ministry of Agriculture, they're the ones who need to work together to assure the public there is no health risk. Why? Not because the fishermen say so. Because we have tested the fishes. We have done profound testing. We continue to do profound testing, elaborate testing. And so far, there is no sign that these fishes were exposed to corpse. You can't say where the fishermen fish is far from the location of the tragedy. No, because the bodies are going to float. The waves and the currents are going to take them, scatter them all over the sea. It's going to scatter the bodies. So even if they're fishing 2 kilometers from the site, it doesn't mean the bodies can't reach there. Fishes are feeding everywhere. Wherever they get a scent that food is, they will swim there. They're going to swim there. Like I said, I give my honest opinion. So share this live. Go to Amazon.com and support the books for the Durga Foundation. And I will include the Zella number. I'll include the Zella number for those persons who still want to make their contribution to Zella, to the Zella account. You are the people. The people want to support the show. You support the show. In that way, I'm not compromised. In that way, I can tell you like it is. Because if I was being paid by the government, if the government was funding me, I ain't talking no chicken feed, chicken foot, plantain chip money. I'm talking real funding. If they were funding me, do you think I would have just made that statement about the fishing industry? No, I would lie and lie and lie and make it look as though nothing. Because why? I'm paid to lie. I'm not saying the minister lied. I'm just making a point here. The fact I'm free to give my opinion as best as I see fit, it means that there's no check hanging over my head. If you want to keep it that way, you, the listener, the viewers, you want to keep it that way, then you can go to the Zella account that I'll put later on, and you can just send your donation directly to the Zella account. If you have a Zella account, not everybody does, but if you have one. If you don't have one, just buy a book. I can see the comment section here with the win people. Azruddin himself. Got you. I knew it. I knew it. Yeah, whatever. Lock up Hannah. Lock her up. Let her go and experiment with her lesbian tendencies. You got a lot of black women in prison that are horny. And they would love a white bitch in the prison. I hope my audio was good. Until next time. Goodbye.